Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine biting into something fresh, crisp, with a flavor that blends green apple, ripe pear, and a drop of honey. Now imagine that it grew in an abandoned corner of your garden. No irrigation, no fertilizer, no care, just rain and time. And on top of that, it's medicinal. It helps regulate blood sugar. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut. The Incas valued it so highly, they offered it to their gods. Sounds too good to be true? It did to me too, the first time I tried it. This plant is real. It's called yacón. And what I'm going to tell you today about it will change the way you see your garden, your health, and what you put on your family's table. Stay until the end, because near the end of the video, I'm going to reveal the mistake almost everyone makes the first time they harvest it, one that can ruin the whole season. A few years ago, a friend handed me some strange-looking rhizomes. They were knobby, compact, like ginger but thicker. He said, "Plant them and you'll see." He didn't explain what they were. He didn't give me instructions. And honestly, I stuck them in the most forgotten corner of my garden. The corner where the soil isn't great, where there's hardly any direct sun, where nothing special ever happens. And I forgot about them. I literally forgot about them for months. Fall came. The leaves on the trees started changing color. And then I remembered those rhizomes. I went to see what had happened in that corner. What I found left me speechless. There were plants almost 6 feet tall, big, lush, with huge green leaves. They looked like they'd always been there, like they belonged. Carefully, I loosened the soil around the base. And underneath, I found something I wasn't expecting. Roots the size of sweet potatoes, some even bigger, dozens of them hanging like clusters. I rinsed them right there, cut a piece, took a bite, and in that moment, I understood exactly why my friend hadn't explained anything. Because some things only make sense once you taste them. Yacón, in many places, scientifically known as Smolanthus sonchifolius, is related to sunflower and Jerusalem artichoke. It comes from the Andes, regions between about 3,300 and 9,800 feet in elevation, where nights are cool, days are sunny, and the climate helps the roots store their sweetness. The Incas knew it well, so well that it's been found in tombs from cultures that existed centuries before them. Andean travelers carried it as a source of hydration because this root is up to 90% water inside. They didn't drink water from rivers. They ate yacón. That alone tells you something about what this plant meant. It's not just another crop. It's part of an ancient kind of knowledge that modern life almost erased. But before we go further, I need to tell you something important, something I learned the hard way. This plant produces 2 completely different types of roots. Rhizomes, which are used to propagate the plant. They have buds, they're compact, and new shoots grow from them. These are what you plant. Storage roots, the tubers, the ones that hang downward in clusters. Those are the edible ones. My first time, I pulled everything up, saw it all as roots, and tasted a rhizome. Terrible, fibrous, tough, no pleasant flavor. I almost considered the whole experiment a failure. But a Peruvian farmer in a video opened my eyes. The edible ones are the fat, hanging roots down below, not the knobby ones near the crown. That mistake almost cost me the best harvest of my life. So if you're thinking about growing it, write this down right now. Rhizome equals plant, tuber/root equals eat. Don't mix them up. Now, what makes this root so special isn't just that it's sweet. It's that it's sweet in a way almost no other natural food is sweet. You bite yacón and your tongue gets a clear signal. Sweet, very sweet. But inside your body, you're not getting sugar the way you think you are. How is that possible? Here's the secret. Yacón stores energy in compounds called fructooligosaccharides, FOS. They're chains of fructose. Your tongue reads them as sweet, but your digestive enzymes can't break them down like regular sugar. So what happens? They travel intact to the large intestine, and that's where something incredible happens. In your colon live trillions of bacteria. Most are beneficial. They do quiet but essential work: digest fiber, produce vitamins, regulate immunity, and even influence mood. The FOS in yacón are favorite food for those good bacteria. They feed them. They multiply them. They strengthen exactly the gut flora you want thriving. That's why scientists call yacón a natural prebiotic. Not a probiotic, the bacteria themselves, but a prebiotic, the food that helps beneficial bacteria flourish. But there's more. There are serious studies done in Peru, Japan, Argentina, looking at yacón's effects in people with type 2 diabetes. The results are consistent. Regular consumption of yacón may help stabilize blood glucose levels. It doesn't cure diabetes, let's be clear, but it can help reduce post-meal glucose spikes, improve insulin sensitivity, and lower LDL, bad cholesterol. For someone who has to watch what they eat every day, that's not a small thing. It's eating something sweet, crisp, and delicious, and having it work in your favor. And here I want to pause, because I sometimes wonder why plants like this aren't more widely known, why they're not in every garden, every market, every kitchen. And the answer always leads me to the same place. The earth was made with everything human beings need. It's not an accident that these roots exist. It's not an accident they contain exactly the compounds our gut needs, and that they help regulate the blood sugar we struggle with today. Someone designed it that way, and our job is to rediscover it. If that resonates with you, if you enjoy discovering plants with more wisdom than they seem to hold, subscribe to Herbalynx. Here we keep exploring that knowledge together. Now let me tell you how to grow yacón, because this is what surprised me most. I've grown tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, potatoes, carrots. With all of them, you have to stay on top of things. Tomatoes want trellising and pruning. Potatoes need hilling and have their own pests. Cucumbers need almost daily checking in summer. Yacón doesn't. Yacón is probably the most rewarding plant I've ever grown. I'm saying that after several years, not as hype, but because it's exactly what I experienced. To start, you need rhizomes, those knobby pieces with visible buds. Those buds are where new shoots emerge. Plant them in spring, once there's no risk of frost. Dig a hole about 8 inches, 20 centimeters, deep, place the rhizome, cover it with soil, and that's it. No magic, no special fertilizers, no complicated preparations. If your soil is average, that's enough. If it's very poor, you can add a little mature compost, but don't overdo it. Too much nitrogen pushes the plant into leafy growth and reduces root production. What is important is spacing. Give it at least 3 feet, 1 meter, between plants. I prefer 5 feet, 1.5 meters, because yacón gets big. It can easily reach 6 feet tall. Huge, green, beautiful leaves. In fact, if you want a living green screen in your yard, yacón works perfectly, with the bonus that at the end of the year, that screen becomes food. During summer, yacón doesn't demand much water. It tolerates moderate drought well. In my case, watering once a week in the hottest months is more than enough. In spring and fall, rainfall is usually plenty. Compare that to tomatoes, where one dry day and they're stressed. Or squash, which wants deep watering every couple of days in summer. Yacón is different. It stores water where it needs it. And pests? In all the years I've grown it, I've never had to apply anything. No insecticides, no fungicides, no organic sprays, nothing. Once I had a bit of aphids early in the season. They disappeared on their own in a few days. Ladybugs showed up and handled it. Nature has its own balance when we don't interfere. The plant contains compounds called sesquiterpenes that protect it naturally. Basically, it comes with its own shield. Now let me tell you about the most exciting moment of the cycle: harvest. When fall arrives, the plant starts to change. The leaves yellow, the stalks dry out. It looks like it's dying, but that's exactly what needs to happen. The plant is sending all its energy downward into the roots. It's filling its reserves. Wait until the above-ground growth is completely dry, or until the first light frost, if your area gets them. Then it's time. Cut the stalks down to ground level. Use a digging fork, not a shovel, because the roots break easily. Loosen the soil around the plant gently. Take your time. When you lift the whole clump, you'll see two things: the rhizomes attached near the base and the edible storage roots hanging below. Rhizomes get saved for next season. The tubers are your harvest. In a normal season, one healthy plant can yield between 11 and 22 pounds, 5 to 10 kilograms, of edible roots. For me, the average is around 15 pounds, 7 kilograms, per plant. With 4 or 5 plants, a family can have yacón for months. Now, the mistake I promised at the beginning, the one almost everyone makes. The first year we harvested, we washed the entire crop all at once. We stored it clean and pretty in boxes, feeling proud. Within 2 weeks, we lost half of it. Wet yacón rots fast, much faster than you expect. The fix is simple, but you have to know it. Store them with soil still on them. Don't wash them until you're ready to eat them. In a cool, dark, well-ventilated place, they can last for months. The rhizomes, the ones for next year, store them in slightly moist material like sand or sawdust in a cool spot protected from hard freezes. That way they'll be perfect by spring. One more thing, always save more rhizomes than you think you need. The first year I saved too few and several spoiled. Ever since then I saved double. Any extras I give away, and I love doing that because it helps this plant spread. Now we've harvested. We've stored it properly. Here comes my favorite part, using it. The simplest way, and to me the best, is to eat it raw. Peel it like an apple, slice it into sticks or rounds, and drop it into water with a few squeezes of lemon so it doesn't oxidize. It browns like an apple when exposed to air. Raw, it has its full flavor, that clean sweetness that's hard to describe. Crisp like celery, but sweet like fruit. My kids eat it like candy, better than a lot of packaged snacks. And the best part is that when you eat it raw, the fructooligosaccharides reach the colon intact, so the prebiotic effect is strongest. One of my favorite recipes is a simple salad. Peeled yacón in thin strips, cooked beets in cubes, walnuts, a bit of goat cheese or fresh cheese, olive oil, salt, and if you have it, a few mint leaves. The combination, the cool sweetness of yacón, the earthy beet, the salty cheese, is hard to forget. It also works in juices. Blend it raw with apple and carrot, and you get a sweet, light, refreshing drink. No added sugar, nothing artificial, just fruits and roots. If you want to cook it, you can. It's great sautéed with vegetables, or roasted with olive oil and rosemary. But here's what you should know. When you cook it, some of the fructooligosaccharides change. It loses part of its prebiotic effect. It's still tasty and nutritious, but if your goal is maximum gut benefit, raw is best. In the Andes, there's a very old tradition, making yacón syrup. The roots are pressed, the juice is extracted, and then it's simmered slowly until it thickens. The result is a smooth, dark honey with a flavor that reminds you of maple syrup, but with yacón's own unique note. It's a low glycemic sweetener, ideal for people who need to manage blood sugar, but don't want to give up sweetness. I've made it. It takes time and patience, but for special occasions, it's worth it. And there's one more thing I don't want to skip, the leaves. Yacón leaves are also used medicinally, especially as a tea. They have antioxidant properties, and studies using leaf extracts have shown an even stronger effect on blood glucose than the root. A tea made from dried yacón leaves 3 times a week is part of traditional Andean medicine for people with a tendency toward diabetes. That said, I need to be honest about something. If you've never tried yacón before, start with small portions, about 2 ounces, 50 grams, the first time. FOS are very effective at feeding beneficial bacteria, but if your gut isn't used to them, you may get gas or discomfort at first. That's your gut adapting. It's normal, but it can be uncomfortable if you overdo it. I learned that lesson the first time. I got excited by the flavor and ate too much. That night, I understood the message. Also, people with IBS or fructose intolerance should be especially careful and talk with their healthcare professional before making it a regular part of their diet. Not everything natural works the same for everyone. Yacón is extraordinary, but like anything, it should be used wisely. Let me ask you something. Why do you think a plant that's so easy to grow, so productive, so ancient, and so packed with benefits is still unknown to most people? I've thought about that a lot, and I think the reason is simple. You can't patent it. You can't sell it in a capsule with a brand name. It doesn't create massive profits for anyone. It grows in a forgotten corner. It reproduces itself. It doesn't need anyone fussing over it. It's exactly the kind of knowledge that doesn't have commercial value, so it's slowly faded, generation after generation. But there's something we can do. Bring it back. We don't need to be experts. We don't need big land. We don't need money. We need a patch of soil, a couple rhizomes, and patience. The earth always gives back more than it receives. That's not just biology. It's a principle written from the beginning. Those who sow generously will also reap generously. And yacón proves it every fall. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs it. That family member who struggles with blood sugar. That neighbor with a garden who doesn't know what to plant. That person looking for natural ways to take better care of themselves. This knowledge isn't mine. It belongs to all of us. And the more people who have it, the better. Subscribe to Herbalynx if you want to keep discovering plants like yacón. Plants with centuries of history that heal, that nourish, and that modern life almost forgot. The next video will be about a plant mentioned at least 3 times in the Bible, used as medicine by the Romans, and probably growing just a few meters from your home without you even knowing it. Don't miss it. See you soon, and thank you for spending time with me on Herbalynx.